Dwayne,
Jay.
we're going to do something cool today.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have you start off.
Thanks, bro. A little curveball, a little fly by the seat of our pants.
I love it.
How do addicts handle things? Always fly by the seat of your pants.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Trial by fire. Go figure it out. Actually, recently you were telling me at the gym today that you got to go to a really nice dinner.
Mm-hmm.
You say you had a nice dinner up in Santa Fe. Where did you eat in Santa Fe?
Geronimo.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
This is
like
Canyon Road, high end,
Mm-hmm.
one of the best dining places in all of New Mexico, hands down. So I actually saw a video the other day that was very interesting, and I'm going to show you the video, but first I'm going to ask you the question in the video. And I think this is kind of just stemming from where the question is coming from for us in this spiritual podcast, in this addiction recovery podcast is I know that I caused a lot of harm in my addiction. And I know that my selfishness really contributed to more than just one addiction for me. And so it was really easy to transfer my addiction, my selfish behavior from drinking when I stopped drinking to women. And it was also very easy to transfer that addiction from women to money and prioritizing the dollar. And I'm going to make that king everything. And everything else needs to get the fuck out of my way. And so part of this, I think, is about seeking balance as an individual in recovery. But also part of it is just about shining the light on my selfishness. And so the question is, if you could have dinner with anyone, alive or dead, who would you choose?
I think Jesus would be the easiest answer, of course.
Nice answer.
You know, I think that would be a nice answer, but I think but that's an easy one. I think if I had to pick, it would have to, because I want to pick like one that would be, I think I would pick like Andrew Carnegie, you know, somebody like that, like somebody that was raised really hard, really poor, and literally like by their bootstraps. Like that's a whole statement. And then built this, you know, and then JP Morgan bought Andrew Carnegie's steel company. Like he started a steel company out of nothing. But he was always like, he built Carnegie Hall. He was always like a very respectful person, morally good. You know, like there was like in that time frame, like people treat their employees bad. So I like that 20s, 30s, 40s time frame because it seemed like people were willing to be. They knew what hardness was.
They knew how to suffer.
Yeah, they knew how to suffer.
Or they knew how to walk
in a good way.
through.
Though.
Yes, exactly. I knew how to walk.
They were not
shit.
soft.
No. That's an excellent answer. I love that answer. You're really good at pulling out information from people, so I could just see you.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, I would like
asking
that.
him questions.
I mean, like some of I would want to, like I said, you would want to talk to somebody. I mean, Jesus would be my first answer, of course, but you would want to talk to somebody that's moralistically an example.
Fantastic.
Of something that you would want to be. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't want to talk to Genghis Khan.
No.
You know, I mean, like I heard the other day they said that majority of the Asian population has the DNA in them.
Interesting.
Majority of males
have
Genghis Khan DNA. That's how much his addiction to women were.
That's how vicious he was. That's wild. But I love the answers. Recently, you know, I've been going through the Exodus seminars with Jordan Peterson again, and he has his roundtable discussion. So the first thought for me, my first answer would have been, Moses.
Right.
I'd love to sit down.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool.
And talk with the guy that brought down the Decalogue from Mount Sinai.
Yes.
And organized the people. So that was my first answer. And but really, because that's what I've been studying recently, it's just in the front of my mind. And then my second answer would have been, well, it would be nice to have dinner with Jordan too.
Yeah, 100%.
Jordan Peterson is probably my second answer.
Right.
And those guys are educators. Those guys are leaders, and I think that would resonate for me.
Do you feel like being an addict and replacing, like, because you mentioned that earlier, like you replace, and I did the same thing, you know, and I think a lot of men have addiction to women, you know what I mean? Or other men, whatever, doesn't matter. Women to women, men to men, who cares? But do you feel like it's the same addictive personality, the same addictive feelings, the same addictive, I mean, do you use the word replace? And I know there's like, I mean, like I can replace it with Coke Zeros. You know, I could replace my food or Mountain Dew Zeros.
Yeah.
You know, because they taste like a Mountain Dew, but there's no sugar in them. Supposedly they're not bad or good for you, but it's still that same taste. It'd be like drinking a beer with no. You see what I'm saying? It's like what
it's called near beer.
Yeah, it's like is the addiction. I want to ask this question to you, right? The addiction in and of itself is part of our DNA as being an entrepreneur. So if you have an entrepreneurial spirit, you probably have an addictive personality.
Very good. Very good.
So it's like the ego's not all bad. And I think this is where the shadow work has to be done with the addiction. And I don't want to take us off course here with the dinner thing or whatever.
This is the direction we're heading in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very powerful. That part of me that is all in, that is focused, that is driven, that is hardworking.
I'll do whatever it takes to get a bottle.
Is the same part of me, yes, that feeds, if I'm in my ego, that feeds my addiction. So very interesting. This is very interesting. We talk about logos a lot, you and I, and we talk about an animating spirit, and that you taught me, well, that's a spirit.
Yeah.
Being an entrepreneur, you have an entrepreneurial spirit that lives inside of you. Not everybody has that.
No, not everyone. Yeah.
A lot of people need to go to a job and be told what to do, and that works well for them. And if that's your situation, that's perfectly fine.
But most addicts, I would say, have this little fuck it, let's go.
Let's go attitude. Absolutely.
Which is all entrepreneurial.
Yes. All or nothing. I got 2 speeds.
Do you feel like with your addiction, because you like last year, you easily would go on a roof in the summertime with the apartment complexes that you own. You own multiple apartment complexes and, you know, have gone from nothing to a millionaire, all these things, which is awesome with real estate. But you yourself would go on the roof in the heat of the day and changing out filters and stuff like that. And you don't even think twice about it.
It's mine to take care of.
But I think that's because there's a word that is really important when it comes to looking at something that's so-called bad, which is addiction. There's a word, and it's a biblical word. It's called redemption or redeeming. You know, so can we redeem the addiction, or can we look at the addiction as being, as we've talked about before, but being my superpower?
Yes. Can I channel it?
Yes.
In the right direction.
Not to vagina or donuts.
Yes, very good.
Or the casino or alcohol, but to, I can work 12, 15-hour days.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I can go up on a hot roof in the middle of the summer when it's 100 degrees and change some filters.
Yep.
And sweat.
Yep. Okay. So you remember the question we started with? Who would you like to have dinner with? You remember I'm all or nothing, and I'm in. Things that we were talking about recently. I'm a hunter. And things that get in the way of what I'm hunting, that's just noise.
Yes.
Fucking get out of my way.
Right.
And that can be
and
my
there's
ego,
a rap,
all
move,
or nothing.
bitch, get out of my way. Or something.
So now I'm going to show you a video.
Okay.
And you can hold it up to the microphone. The listeners can hear it on the microphone.
Or you could just put it on yours, yeah. Oh, I need to watch it.
But it'd be helpful if you watch it. So just click that one up top.
The one up top?
Yeah. And then, make sure the volume's up. Turn the volume up on the side. Yeah. And then click it.
If you could have dinner with anyone, living or dead, who would you choose?
Kylie Minogue.
Marilyn Monroe. Oh, God, I wouldn't have a clue.
I know, straight up. Paul Hogan.
Kim Kardashian.
No.
I'd like to have dinner with Justin Bieber.
What? He's not coming to my house.
So,
I'd have Bob Hawke.
Dave Hughes.
Barry Humphries.
Jimi Hendrix.
People who have made a difference in the world, maybe Nelson Mandela at the dinner table.
I don't know what he's going to say. I'm scared.
If you could have dinner with anyone in the world, who would you choose?
Probably our whole family, like our whole extended family.
Mum and Dad. Mum and Dad. Does it have to be a celebrity? Could it be family?
We love it. We talk about how school is. We ask Mum and Dad how their day was.
Family.
Yeah, Mum and Dad.
Family! Who would you guys like to have dinner with?
They just want to be with us while they're eating food, which is pretty cool.
They see us above everything. I'm gonna get...
That's it, huh?
Bro.
This is well, it's from the Tear Chronicles. Let's give
Tear
a shout out to
Chronicles,
Instagram. I'm
totally,
like sitting
bro.
here like, oh my God.
They asked the kids, who would you most like to have dinner with? And they chose the people they're already with.
Yeah. That's amazing.
They were so present in the answer and so okay in their existence. They chose the people they're already surrounded with to have dinner with. Why in my addiction am I constantly seeking for these outside things to make me okay? If it was with Jordan Peterson, then I'll be good.
Yes.
If I got to have dinner with Moses, that would be the peak, the pinnacle for me. And I think the way that our ego gets me in trouble when it comes to my addiction or my entrepreneurial spirit is if I can't be grateful where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, I think there's components to this, and that's so beautiful, and I love it in the sense of the grateful, I think, is being ungrateful is that the nasty side, if we want to call it that, the nasty side of the addiction. And when I'm ungrateful and when I'm selfish, and you've said this, so I'm quoting you, when I'm ungrateful, when I'm selfish is when I'm at my worst as an addict.
Yes.
And so we know that. We know that we can be extremely selfish. We know that we can be narcissistic. A lot of addicts are narcissistic, and we all have narcissistic tendencies. And we also know that we're being ungrateful. And that's why I told you at the gym today, it's like I went 3 days without doing my grateful exercise, you know.
That's your
And
gratitude.
then I was like driving, and I was like, I'm so thankful for this and this. But it's also that same flip side of the knife or the sword, that part allows us to be, if because you know this, if you need to work 10 hours, you're like, well, this is what I need to do. Adios, family. Like you can segment, and I can do the same thing. You can segment yourself to the point to where you're like, do I really needed to work these 10 hours or can I take a break, have dinner with my family at home, and then turn around and go back to work after they've gone to sleep?
Yeah. I think it's interesting, at least for me in my addiction, how easy it was for me to say, fuck you, family. I'm all in with the drugs. I'm all in with the alcohol. I'm going to give this everything I have. And it was the misdirection of that energy that tore my house apart. They were a burden. They were in my way. And I needed to go get drunk.
Because they did not satisfy the addiction.
They weren't meeting my addiction. Alcohol was meeting my addiction.
Right.
Alcohol was what made me feel present. But that was me in my unconsciousness. That was me in my ego. So now, with a present moment practice, with a recovery practice, can I flip it? And can I want to be with the people around me and contribute to them
I love that.
and give to them?
That would be the opposite of, or that would be redeeming the addictive personality and understanding. So for me, when I think of that, it would be like I get to build something positive. So now let me say, okay, no phones. We're always going to be at the dinner table. It's going to be 6 p.m. if you're here.
Yeah.
Or 7 p.m., whatever you want to, 5 p.m., whatever. And this is what we do as a family. And this is where we're at. We're going to talk to each other and see how days are going. you know, that's something you can build. So that's kind of that entrepreneurial spirit. You could be like, okay, I'm going to, you know, like, why can't you build your family?
Yeah.
And those foundational bricks to build it to be a super strong,
bro, it's so
and
powerful.
make it a moat,
So powerful,
you know,
what
against
you
the
just
world.
said. Yeah.
Why can't you take that same entrepreneurial spirit and do that? Why does it always have to be something that I don't have?
I love it, bro. I love it. When we were in the bar and someone said, let's go to Tijuana.
Yeah.
The alcoholics were the ones that were going, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, right.
I'm still the same person in recovery. But now that energy has been redirected and someone says, let's go build a family. The situation arises for me. She gets pregnant. Can I still be the same person that goes, yeah,
Right.
when responsibility is presented to me, when a bigger life is presented to me, when a new opportunity is presented to me, when growth is presented to me, we're still the same people.
I think entrepreneurial type spirit, the crazy addiction, narcissist, all that. I think we value fun differently than others. I think it's higher on our list. Like I just so see people that will work a shitty job for 30 years so they can retire and have money in the bank.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, that's a living hell for me.
Money in the bank doing nothing.
But I mean, like, they don't prioritize fun. Like, fun is not a thing for them. So selfish fun in your 20s, that's what I tend to prioritize. And then I say, that looks like fun. That looks like something I want. Let me go 110% for that. But there has to be a cool fun factor with it. It needs to be cool. It needs to be relevant. It needs to be fun. There needs to be a challenge. And then I'm all in. You know, so it's like, oh, I get to go to Dwayne's house to fucking do coke and party all night, you know. Yay, let's all go to Dwayne's house, you know. He doesn't have his parents home, you know.
Right.
It's, to me, it's that same feeling because I'm trying to dissect it all down. Like, because what I'm wanting people to see is you don't have a problem. You have these traits that are in you.
Misdirected.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It's a misdirection of the energy. I'm going to have this energy regardless. This is the type of person I am. If I'm an alcoholic, if I'm an addict, I'm all in.
Yeah.
So can I redirect that energy in a positive way, in a productive way, in a successful way, in a it's more of an innocent existence, more of an innocent direction. It's, you know, in recovery, we say you regain your innocence here. The kids were young. Life hadn't beat them to shit yet. They said, I want to be with the people I'm with now. Can I have an innocent direction? Can I regain my innocence? Can I regain what it is to be okay in the present moment?
I think it's more than being okay. It's this understanding that I am a powerful fucking creator and I'm so powerful. I create a lot of fucking mayhem and shit and craziness.
Yes.
I can fuck my whole family up in 5 minutes.
Exactly.
I'm that powerful because everybody always thinks this manifestation shit is only positive.
No.
I can manifest some really bad shit. I can tell a woman that she's no good and she's horrible and I don't like you anymore and I'm out with you and then go fuck another one 2 hours later.
Yep.
Like I can really manifest some fucked up shit.
Yep.
You know, I mean, if you did a whole fucking 5 lines of coke right now after 13 years and then went home, you could manifest some fucked up shit.
Oh yeah.
Like you could traumatize your kids. Like the list goes on and on. But we could do that. That's that entrepreneurial spirit, that power. We're powerful creators. Because I don't like the victim mindset that addicts have. Because I think there's something that's there that's unbridled. It's like, you know, Conan not knowing his own power, but he's fucking Conan. He can he's huge. He's a monster. He can fucking wield a sword. He could kill any fucking dragon, but he didn't know that in the beginning.
Right.
You got to slay the dragons to know that you're a fucking dragon slayer.
Yes.
But if you have that entrepreneurial spirit, that's something totally unique that a small percentage of the population have.
There you
that
go.
all-in spirit, people are too fearful.
Yes. Let's stay small.
Yes.
It's easier to stay small than it is to take a risk. It's easier to stay drunk than it is to try and sober up.
So like taking that power and manifesting yourself in that, like you said, the innocence, but that energy, it's like taking that power and that energy and saying, fuck this. I'm taking control of it. It's my power. And I'm going to shift it to my family. I'm going to shift it to, you know, a career that I really want to do, that I'm passionate and loving about. Because we can do that.
Could you imagine saying, I'm all in?
Yeah.
On my connection to God.
Oh, that's so good.
I'm all in.
I'm going to start using that one.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
On my well-being. I'm all in on my success. I'm all in on the expansion of my life. Instead of I'm all in on the destruction of me and my family. Do you know how many dinners I missed because I was doing drugs and drinking?
But you knew there was this, and this is that entrepreneurial spirit, or whatever you want to call it, this special addict superpower. There's a lot of people I talk to, they're like, lifting weights, that's for like muscle heads or whatever. They have no desire. There's like no self-awareness in their brain that they need to lift weights, like at all, or exercise at all. There's people that just have the little, like you talk to the old guys, they have the real skinny arms, the little pot belly.
Yep.
They're like at the gym, not even close. Where we were like, feel guilty, this is an addict. We feel guilty if we don't go.
Yeah.
And maybe you haven't gone in 10 years. I guarantee you as an addict, you still feel guilty because the entrepreneurial spirit is calling you to the gym. It's calling. And so if you're feeling that and normal people aren't, that means you're special. Like you have this special power in you that shows you the potential that you have, that you're operating at a 2, a 1, or 2, or 3 when you could be a 10.
Exactly right.
We just got the more talents in the Bible.
And exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And we when alcoholics or people who recover from addiction usually are higher producing individuals to begin with. We're high in conscientiousness, which means you give me an axe and put me in the forest, I know what to do. I will be busy all day long.
Yeah, exactly.
We're extremely present, focused, and driven. And now, can I bring that same energy into my recovery? Or do I want to be the person creating mayhem all in unconsciously in my addiction?
So let's take those two paths. Do you feel like it's the addiction to guilt? Do you feel like it's the addiction to saying, fuck it? If I know I have this superpower, I know I would go into the woods, and if there's an axe laying there and there's no one around and I'm just me in the trees and there's an axe, I'm going to do shit. I'm going to build a cabin. You would do the same thing. There's some people that be like, well, fuck that axe. I may need it to start a fire or something, but I'm going to go look at butterflies and wander around. We're instantly going to like, let's go work.
We're gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where, and that's not normal. A normal person doesn't say that.
No.
A normal person's not like, okay, how do I build a log cabin? What trees do I need to try? I need to figure this out. I don't want to kill myself knocking these trees down. What size? I mean, that's how our brains. And that, I think that it's the same program that runs. I need to get a bottle. I need to go see my friend. I need $30.
Very good.
I need to, this person has these drugs that I want and they owe me, but then I owe this person and I'm going to see them at the bar. We run like that. Addicts run their brain like that.
Absolutely. That's the high in conscientiousness. Yes. Exactly right. It's just very interesting. And I think, so we're presented with these two paths. However, when in my addiction, depending upon how far down the progression I've gone, I can't see the destruction I'm
can't
creating.
see because we use the word blind a lot, because I'm trying to throw the responsibility back onto your superpower. It's like the superhero that choose not to help people. And they're like, go help him, go help him. He's like, nah, I don't want to fucking do that. I'm just going to sit here and drink.
That Will Smith movie.
Will Smith, that's great, yeah. I always think of him slapping Chris Rock. Every time the name's mentioned, I think of that. It's horrible. But yeah, you think of The Hitch. Like, he just no response. It's like, you're not blind. You're willfully turning.
Good. Willfully blind. Yes.
You're willfully making that decision.
I'm turning a blind
because
eye.
you're not dumb. You play dumb as an addict, but you're not dumb. You're probably super smart.
Very good.
If we did an intelligence test when you were halfway sober, I bet you would beat everybody else.
It's easier to turn a blind eye to my shitty behavior than it is to take responsibility
Right.
and be all in recreating my life.
But because you've done this and I've done this. We've turned our life around and been successful. So, and I've done it multiple times.
Yes.
You know, I mean, where I've been, and I know now that I can do things. If I was dropped off in a city tomorrow, I could get a job in a day.
Yep.
And it would be a good job. And I just know that I could do that. And you could do the same thing. Even if I got a shitty job, I know I could get a job easy. I could go talk to somebody, have a conversation, and wash dishes.
Yeah.
And that would be the first thing I do is I got to get it. The first thing in my mind would be I need to get a job.
To make some money.
Because to make some money, and then I can, maybe I can rent a room from somebody. It's that same feeling. Because I know addicts, they're like getting these Obama cell phones. That's what people call them. But
no,
then turning around and using them, and they're like, some of the best entrepreneurs out there are drug traffickers. You know what I mean? And drug dealers. So, and they all have that entrepreneur spirit. You can't be running phones and running people and seeing who's where. You're trying to it's like herding cats because you got all these addicts that are crazy. And then you've got to control all that to be a halfway successful drug dealer.
Then I agree 100%. That's the entrepreneurial spirit in the misdirection with my ego.
That's all it is a misdirection.
Yes. So if I can redirect that energy in the positive way, become a positive
inner being.
I'm in the shoes of inner being, become a positive hunter.
Yeah.
So let's say I have a high aim. What's one of your 2024 goals? Just one.
Well, my word is a clarity, which means me reducing things and then focusing more. Like on the podcast, it's just one because we're podcasting right now. But that's one of my 3 things. Is I felt like another one was I felt like I wasn't as serious as I should be with my physical. And you've helped me with this a lot, but and I had some sicknesses and stuff like that. But I thought for 2024, no excuses. You're not sick anymore.
Nope.
You have a scar on your leg where you had cancer. Your blood work is totally fine now. So there is no excuse. There was no excuse, Jason, not to go 110%. And what does that look like? What spirit do you have inside of you where you can go 110% at the gym?
110% in the gym.
Yeah.
Clarity.
Yeah.
And focus.
Yeah. Focus. Yes.
In your realms of existence. Powerful. Those are great goals. That's 2 right off the bat. You already had 2 goals that you didn't even need to think about it. I know you already did this work. That's my high aim. That's the direction I'm heading in. When the Israelites are wandering around in the desert, how long did it take them to get out of the desert? How long did they wander around?
It was 80 years, right?
40 years.
Or 40 years, yeah. Moses died.
40 years. And what had to happen? Where did Moses go? He went to Mount Sinai. He went to the top of something. He went to the pinnacle, and he brought down this high aim.
Yes.
He brought down these goals. Boom. Put a high aim in front of you. Head in that direction. I'm no longer wandering around the desert fucking lost.
Yeah, and they still were. I mean, and that shows you that shows you like Joshua is a perfect example of having an entrepreneurial spirit, and he's the one that brought them into the.
He took action, yeah.
But here's the thing too: if I'm dependent on a Moses all the time to give me what I need, I don't have a high aim. If I'm dependent on what my mom had told me, 15 years ago about me, your parents don't know shit about you. I don't mean to be mean, but their goals for you to be a doctor or a lawyer, all of them say that.
Right.
They don't know that you love horses and you want to be a horse veterinarian, and that you have this special connection with horses. They can't feel that or see that. But when you're around a horse, the horse always loves you. And that's all you want to do is have that energy to be, start a veterinarian clinic, or whatever it may be. That's your high aim. You have to come to the conviction. There has to be a conviction of that. You can't wander around the desert and then hope that this guy figures shit out for you while you're complaining.
So
The government's is not your Moses.
That's the Pharaoh.
No, God is. If there's somebody you need to speak to, God will give. You can be the Moses and walk up on the Mount Sinai and have God nowadays give you those laws in your life.
Become your own Moses.
Ooh, I like that.
Become your own Moses.
The title. Yeah.
And with the redirection of this spirit that's inside of us, now I have a high aim.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know what I'm hunting.
Yes.
Now I know what I'm after. Now I know my direction. So let's seek some clarity first when it comes to redirecting my energy. Get clear on what you want. I want a fucking job. Get clear on what you want. I want a car that runs. Get clear on, I want a phone that I paid for.
Mm-hmm.
I want a relationship I can trust. Get clear on what you want and head in that direction. When I'm hunting in my entrepreneurial spirit, all the other shit's just noise.
So those that you just mentioned, here's gaining clarity on those. I want a job. Be the person that someone would hire.
Yes.
Be the person that someone would love and you would be 100% in, and you don't care about the money. You care about serving that person to the best of your abilities because you have a special power in you. I guarantee you can make manager in 6 months if you went all in with that special addiction power that you have in you.
Absolutely.
The next one is I want to have a relationship. Be the man or woman that would be the best in a relationship. You can start that now being single. Mm-hmm. There are things that you can do right now to be self-aware enough to understand what a relationship truly is so you don't start to keep attracting the same people that you're, attracting at the meetings.
Same dysfunction.
And what is that? Everybody fucks everybody at the meetings?
Yeah. Well, what do you do when you remove drugs and alcohol?
I love that.
That's all there is. But exactly right. I can educate myself and practice principles now on connecting with another person, on being genuine, showing someone who I really am, on telling the truth and being honest.
A relationship you can trust, you be trustworthy.
Fucking trustworthy, bro. I'm not gonna attract someone faithful and trustworthy if I can't do that first.
100%.
I have to be vibrating at that level.
Yeah.
Exactly like you said, you can do that single. That's seeking clarity in regards to being the type of person worthy of a good relationship.
Because do you not believe in God and that if you were working a job and you were giving 100% at that job and you were taking the bus or walking and you prayed every single day, 500 times a day, God, I need transportation to help me get to this job. God, I need transportation so I can go see my kids. God, I need transportation so I can be a productive human. And I will have tons of gratitude when you give me this car. Do you not think God would hear that prayer?
Absolutely. I agree 1,000% he'd hear that prayer. Not only that, I believe I am connected to that energy. There's no way he couldn't hear it. I already walk around with that. I already walk around with the solution in my back pocket.
Yes.
That is of me. That's inside of me. So
and you're a powerful creator.
I'm a very powerful. Do I want to create some shit or do I want to create a life worth living?
Could you create a car pretty easy, you think?
Immediately. Who knows? You're washing the dishes and all of a sudden your new boss says, you were looking for a car? I'm selling mine. It's $2,000.
Yeah.
It's old as shit. It's a piece of shit. You can have it.
Yeah.
Just take it. I'll take it out of your check.
Yeah. There's so many things
we have
that.
no idea how it's going to unfold when I'm connected to source.
But we're the miracle creators.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
God's just like, oh, okay, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Here we go. Why did he allow Joshua to go into the promised land? Because Joshua was living that faithful, and in the book of Joshua, the first part of the chapter says that he was a righteous and upright man.
Yeah.
What does a righteous and upright man look like?
He does what he says he's going to do.
Yes.
Believes in a higher power, puts faith in that higher power, leans on God. He doesn't hit the rock and say, look what I did for you.
Yeah.
He doesn't take a selfish approach to leading.
Yeah, and he was able to bring him in there, and then he did the whole walls of Jericho thing where they just walked around, and then this miracles were happening all around Joshua all the time. He was just creating. He gained clarity, moved them in the right direction. They went to the promised, the milk and honey and the land that flows.
He got in, yeah.
He got in because he had clarity.
Exactly right.
So let me ask you this, Dwayne. whenever you looked at that moment in your life when you began to pivot and you kind of started feeling, did you feel proud of yourself when you saw your energy shift? Was there a point where you're like, fuck, I'm like doing really good?
There was a really weird feeling inside of me. I didn't understand, and it was pretty uncomfortable. And then someone leaned in and told me, they said, that might be inner peace. I was doing what I was supposed to be doing because I had a high aim. I had this direction now. I wasn't stealing. I wasn't lying. I wasn't, in debt. And I was doing what I was supposed to be doing in regards to living a life worth living, creating a world that I want to live in. Mm-hmm. And I started experiencing inner peace. I got a little taste of serenity. And I didn't know what the fuck it was. It felt really weird. I was like, this is not I don't have a crisis going on right now. What the fuck is this? And then with enough of that type of lifestyle, maybe those moments of clarity, those moments of serenity, they can get closer and closer together. Mm-hmm. I want to be all in this positive direction. I want to be all in my expansion, in my well-being. Mm-hmm. And so that was the deal. I made that deal. I made a handshake commitment with the universe that I'm all in this recovery deal. I want to live the best life possible. If this game is going to kill me, if life is going to kill me regardless, I'm going to die from my addiction or I can die later. Why not live the most magnificent game possible? Why not play the most magnificent game possible? So I was all in and living well. My life started to get really, really big. I have so much responsibility today. 24 rental apartments that I'm responsible for making sure they're okay. 13, 15 clients that I see on a daily basis, trying to make sure they're headed in the right direction with their health and wellness. A family of 5 that loves me, that depends on me, that wants me around. Can I be the man that says, when he's asked, who would you like to have dinner with?
Right.
Can I be the type of person that says, the people I'm with right now? The way my life looks right now is so big and so beautiful because of that high aim and that positive direction. I want to be that type of man. I want to be the type of man that says, I'd be with the people I'm with now. The people I love the most are already around me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's so interesting because our view of family, in reality, God looks at all of us as family. We're the ones that segment and say, you're special, you're special.
Yes.
But really, all of humanity is all one family. Regardless of who it is. And so it's interesting to me, if you really look at that, it's like, okay, well, I'm not spiritually enlightened enough to be there. I can't look at Leah, my girlfriend, and then look at somebody in another country and think equally have love for them. I'm just not there.
Me neither. Not even close.
But I was 10, 15 years ago, fuck you to everybody. Mm-hmm. And you can go fuck off. And no love and just hatred towards people. And so I've learned, I know that I can move in the right direction towards what love is. And I know if the more I love, genuinely love, not in a selfish way, where I don't think sex is love. I think that's a part of it, but I used to confuse sex with love. Like, oh my God, that made me feel amazing. I had the best orgasm ever. I'm so in love with you. You know, like I could throw out the L word, but I was using the L word to gain their, I wanted to use it for a woman to gain their emotion. I wanted to control the emotional. And I knew if I used the L word, that would control them. And then I had them.
Wow.
You know, because I need to control things. You know, that's another part of an addict, you know?
That's powerful.
Now redirecting that, how could I redirect that where I want to control everything? Recognizing, number one, it's silly to think that how fast are we going on this fucking planet and spinning in a huge fucking galaxy? We're like a fucking ball just
whirling around.
Yeah, any moment a solar flare could just wipe us all out.
Yep. And
it's happened cataclysmic times over and over again. So it's like, for me, I have no control. There's no control. I'm not talking like in my personal life. There's just that the understanding that the control is God.
Very good.
And that he's the one that created the universe, or she, whatever, is the one that created the universe. That creational spirit is what is the power. All I can do is take my little plug, Jason Rigby plug, and plug into it and just get all that power and juice, as long as I'm in I like your shoe alignment. Because God's like, well, I'm not going. If I have the wrong size plug, or it's so weird, a European plug won't fit in the United States. No. And I've done this on trips. And I know you have too. You got to go fucking buy the European plug the minute you land, and they have. So it doesn't work. It doesn't fit because I'm trying to do it selfishly. Very good. God's like, I'm not going to help you here. You're on your own. You're a powerful enough creator on your own. You can go fuck shit up. But when you're done, plug in and see what has to be here.
I love that. I love that.
Abraham
analogy.
Hicks talks about that.
Yeah, I love that analogy. That's so cool.
The vacuum cleaner. You told me that one.
Yeah, the vacuum cleaner is plugged in, but it's not turned on. It's like you're using a lot of effort, but nothing got done.
Yeah,
you didn't accomplish anything.
That's me.
I used a lot of effort, and in reality, I made it worse. I spread that shit all over.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. I've done that with family, like in the sense of not been turned on.
Present, but
I'm
not
present.
turned on.
I'm plugged in. I'm working really hard. I'm vacuuming. Look, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm not turned on to love.
Bro, that's the majority of my time with my family. It's easy for them to sneak in, or excuse me, it's easy for my selfishness to sneak in.
I think for me with family, especially because I was pretty strict with the kids and stuff, and they would testify to that if they were here, but I think with me, it was more of just constant criticizing. Like I was very critical of them, and whether it was like a mirror of me and just me being in my unconsciousness, and that irritated me because it was a reminder of a shadow inside of me. I don't know what it was, but I'm telling you, it was a critical spirit that had taken over the family. And so Dad was always quick to criticize you. Like, why didn't you clean your room? What the hell? What's going on? Like, why didn't you do this? Why isn't this not done? Why are you acting this way? You're being a fool. You're acting foolish. This is dumb. I don't want you to act yourself. And I don't like when you're happy either. Don't you know I'm trying to watch TV? Yeah. Go fuck off. I wouldn't say that, but in my mind,
that was the energy.
Yeah, that was the energy. Yeah, it's just a critical spirit with my family, and they're all older now, and I've had conversations with all of them. But, that I think men have that harshness about them.
Yeah, I can be the exact same way with my family. And I want to be the type of man that chooses to be with them at the dinner table.
If I had to do it all over again, I would rather them love and embrace me and hug me and tell me they love me, not fear me.
Yeah.
My kids give me side hugs. They've always done that. It's like, well, I need to make sure, like, is he going to stab me? Or I'm not just making a joke, but like, what's going on here? There's not a good loving intimacy that happens.
Yeah.
And you could go the other way too, where there's an addiction to this narcissistic love, and you make your kids hug you, and you make your kids, pretend like there's love there. Right.
You don't want to be the extreme,
I'm talking like genuine
fake
love.
Yeah,
like seeing fake. A child. Because you don't have to tell a toddler to love you.
They're all about it.
They love you. How many times will they love you?
Infinite.
You can yell at them. You could go home right now and be super shitty to your son. He's still going to love you infinitely.
Yeah, he's already done that a few times. And it's broken my heart.
Yeah.
And I'm just as guilty of it as you are. And we're very, very lucky because we're present and conscious today. I can see that when I act in my shadow, when I act in my ego, that's a misdirection of my energy. And I have the opportunity to take responsibility, redirect my energy. You now have a relationship with your grandkids. You have a 5-year-old here often, and you have grandkids around, the country, and you have a positive relationship with them, and they don't fear you.
No.
You've learned that lesson.
Yeah, I try to be more loving than even what I'm comfortable with.
And we've talked a lot about, there's a very big difference, and this goes for any fathers or parents that are listening out there, but there's a very big difference in power and sovereign authority.
Mm,
Power
yes.
is very, very different than sovereign authority.
Mm-hmm.
Power is, I can hurt you
Yeah.
and you can't hurt me back.
Mm.
You're 3, you little fuck. Bah. Can't hurt me back. That's my ego. That's the part of
Let's
me
get you
that-
in the balls.
That's evil. That's the part of me that's evil. Yeah.
The baseball with the.
But sovereign authority is, I'm the illuminating spirit in the darkness.
Mm.
You need to understand that my wisdom, my experience deserves your respect. You wouldn't eat if it wasn't for me. That's not what the 3-year-old's not going to understand that.
Right.
But sovereign authority
Yeah.
deserves that energy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a lot more. That's empowering.
Yes. And at the same time, I'm not hurting a 3-year-old.
Yeah, and I want to close out with this, Dwayne. I think this is really, really cool. That video is very touching. Thank you for putting that and showing that. It's amazing. We'll put in the show notes the link to that video so they get the credit. But
Cool.
if I had to say the answer all over again, I think I would say if I could, I would want to have lunch with my higher self.
I love that answer.
Like I would want to talk to Jason like a million years from now, see what he is.
I love that answer. I knew that's what you would say once I played the trick on you, because it is a trick. I set you
love
up.
it.
They set me up, and I think I would say the same thing. I would love to speak to future Dwayne.
I think he would have all. Well, he'd have all the answers.